Of course, everyone knows they've seen your billboards and knows that you are a lawyer. And how long have you been a lawyer now?
Since 2002, so about 13 years.
13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 2002 doesn't sound like 13 years ago, does it? But it is. And you're an personal injury lawyer, right?
That's right. We limit our practice to helping people who have been injured in car accidents and other severe accidents.
Right. And of course, going through this whole process, as you do every week, you started accumulating information and decided to come up with your own book. Why did you do that?
That's correct. Well, I noticed over the years, Johnny, that there were a lot of people that needed the type of help that I could provide and the information that I had accrued over those years, as you mentioned, but that maybe were not candidates to be a client of mine. In my practice, I'm able to help at most, let's say, 100 clients a year. But the book could reach many, many more people. Potentially thousands of people across the state who need information about accidents and injury claims, and they want a credible source. What happens is when they get in an accident, they immediately start receiving phone calls from the insurance company, and that's the other side. The insurance adjusters are interested in paying as little as possible to settle claims. And then the other alternative, of course, are TV lawyers that are in their face with "your pain is my gain" type advertising. And I felt like nobody was really servicing their needs for information. And so I've always loved to write. I was editor of the Law Review, and that was an editing and writing position. And it was just a way for me to kind of share and help a broader community than we could through our practice.
All right. So when they're picking up this book, which is a hardcover book, it's in the paperback. You don't have a paperback version yet, do you?
I don't. We've got that hardcover copy which you're holding, as well as an ebook. So we will give away the ebook version for free. 325 pages packed with information. And anybody can go to accidenthandbook.com and download that 100% free. Of course, we have to charge for the fancy hardcover because it costs so much to print.
And inside the book, is it something that I think I saw one of the reviews saying it's a guide that real people can understand.
Exactly.
Not lawyers, because we always think, okay, guys, it's in lawyerese and we can't understand what's going on. But this is actually built for people, I guess, like you would be talking to them in your office, right?
You're 100% correct. That's what we noticed was a void in the market for legal information, something that was written in plain spoken English for average Joe. There's not a single legal citation or statute or fancy Latin term in that book. It's written, as you mentioned, as though I were talking to a client with no legal background whatsoever.
And is that the main difference in this book versus other books?
Yes.
Regarding the subject?
It is essentially the only book on that topic that's written to the consumer. And by consumer, I mean average person who got in a car wreck, rather than attorneys. There are tons of books that are written by one lawyer for other lawyers or judges or law professors. That doesn't help the average person because they can't understand what those fancy terms mean.
But it's probably, too, when they're reading this book, probably it's a good check. So when they do go to lawyers, they may be, other lawyers other than yourself, it would be like a kind of a guide for them to see if their lawyer is doing the right job.
Absolutely. And it's also a guide, number one, to determine if they need a lawyer, because not every case merits an attorney's involvement. For example, I got a call from a really sweet lady yesterday with a very small case. She'd only been to the doctor once. She was haggling over hundreds of dollars with an insurance company. Well, that's a claim where a lawyer would probably be too expensive to end up in a fair outcome for her. But the book can help her get the tools she needs to settle her case on her own. If you decide you need a lawyer because the case is worth maybe thousands instead of hundreds, and then there's then enough money to pay for it, and the lawyer can make you more money than you would without them, well, then there's another chapter on how to choose the right lawyer so that you don't end up with the lawyer with the flashiest ad or the most aggressive sales pitch, but maybe unbeknownst to you, the worst reputation and worst performance. So it's a lot of things that are designed to help a person from the moment they get in that wreck through the settlement that can provide for their needs in their future.
So what kind of topics are listed in this book? How's it laid out?
What's laid out, hopefully, in a way that it chronologically helps you from the beginning of the accident process. Of course, for most folks, the most immediate need after a wreck, if they're not so severely injured that they're at the emergency room or in the hospital, is getting their car fixed. My clients are typically moms, dads, regular folks that need to get to work or school or to pick up their kid that day, the next day. So there's a chapter on getting a rental car, getting your car fixed, getting your car replaced.
So even as basic as that.
Absolutely.
Getting a rental car.
Yes, sir.
I mean, which is, you got to do because
Yeah.
you need transportation.
You got it. So there's 7 simple steps on getting your car fixed or replaced. Moving forward from there, things that will educate you on what you're entitled to, to let you know that if you had to miss work because of your injuries, they owe you lost wages. Medical bills, pain and suffering, some of the things everybody knows they're entitled to, but there are damages that you may be unaware exist. And then finally, how to handle the situation. There's a ton of information about the medical field. Now, of course, I'm a juris doctor, not a medical doctor, but I've laid out chapters that will tell you what types of doctors you may want to see. Because, for example, the most common injury is a back injury. Well, you could see probably a half dozen different types of doctors for a back injury, ranging from chiropractic on one end to a neurosurgeon on the other, and plenty of options such as orthopedics or pain management or even your general family doctor in between. So there are tons of information about that. It's a practical issue, but most folks don't think about it.
Wow. All right, so how can we get our hands on a copy, like a hard copy?
Hard copy, the easiest thing to do would be to go to Amazon.com. And it's the #1 book on Amazon.com right now for Louisiana personal injury law. So you could search for the exact title, Accident Handbook, or you could just put in Louisiana personal injury law and you'll get there. And Amazon will get it shipped to you right away.
Can they pretty much always get more money with dealing with a lawyer, or getting a lawyer involved, finding other areas where they can get compensation for their accident?
Almost always. Of course, there are no guarantees. I often tell my clients it's a lot like football. We know going in to every Saturday that LSU or Alabama, these great football teams, are favored to win. But none of them, not even Nick Saban's Alabama team, wins every game. So, I can't guarantee people will make more money with an attorney every time. But what I can do is appeal to their common sense that personal injury lawyers would not be and stay in business if they weren't providing value and making much, much more money for their clients than their clients could make without them. So the short answer is yes, most of the time our clients will see a lot more money in their pocket at the end of the day with us than without us.
All right, what's your phone number? They can.
My phone number is 985-467-9525, and I'll also share our website for the book is accidenthandbook.com. And that's the site where you can either go to get a free ebook version or you can get a link through to Amazon to buy one.
accidenthandbook.com.
Yes, thank you.
And then you have your own website.
Yeah, and that's Larison.com. The hardest part there is spelling it. L-A-Y.
I had trouble for years.
Yeah, LAYRISSON.com.
All right. Parker Larison, our special guest this morning, has written a new book called Accident Handbook, The Practical Guide to Louisiana Personal Injury Law for Car Wreck Victims. Thank you very much for coming in, Parker.
Thank you, Johnny.
And again, you can go onto his website, too, at larison.com, and also the website for the book itself, which is, repeat again?
accidenthandbook.com.
accidenthandbook.com. Parker Larison, our special guest this morning. Thank you, Parker.